Good Tuesday morning. You had a Subway Series game last night that breathed some life into the Yankees. There is no doubt about it. There's been a couple of wins for them in this terrible stretch where people talked about it being a catalyst victory for them, and it really didn't work out that way. Well, last night might be that game. Offensively, they got the big hits when they needed them, and Domingo Germán was great. Of course, on the other side of things, a frustrating loss because when you got Max Scherzer on the mound and you're minus 155 in the game as a heavy favorite, you expect to win. Didn't work out. But the Mets always bounce back, and unfortunately, Jacob deGrom is not pitching tonight, and it's Taijuan Walker, which is stupid in my eyes because we haven't seen this guy for a full year. He's come back. He's been awesome since he's come back, and now we're going to sit here and we're going to put a diaper on him in the second half of the season. What a joke. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing fine, G. And, wow, I didn't expect that from you this morning. We talked about it yesterday, and I thought maybe they would throw deGrom and Scherzer back-to-back, but unfortunately, that's not the way it's going. I'm with you. I think that, take the bubble wrap off and let's go.
Well, I really didn't expect it to happen, and that's why I wasn't taking it seriously yesterday. I was like, he's going to pitch. I'm like, they're not going to throw Taijuan Walker out there with his lower back stiffness after Scherzer against the Yankees when you're playing the Rockies. After that, they're going to pitch deGrom.
No, they want to pitch deGrom against the Rockies, get a win, and, maybe put up some big runs. The thing about last night that I noticed, and it was early on in this game, the Yanks came to play last night. Benintendi came to play. LeMahieu came to play. Of course, Aaron Judge hits a home run last night. They just came to play. And then for the Mets, I felt like their offensive game plan was to try to hit Germán early in the count. Like they were swinging.
Sure.
Like first and second pitch, knowing that Germán wanted to get, obviously, the first pitch strike over, and it didn't work out. And this is why, and I think I told you this earlier this morning, that, when Buck Showalter was talking the other day about Budo, he was just saying to him, look, kid, don't give major league hitters all that much credit. I mean, they're not very good. Mm-hmm. I mean, they hit home runs, and, obviously they'll come through from time to time. But for the most part, they swing and miss 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So, or they just don't get a hit, or they dribble one. And, again, infield hits and everything else in Met games are just unbelievable. But I would just say their game plan, their offensive game plan, didn't work last night. And they swung a lot of sliders out of the strike zone. I thought there was a generous strike zone by the home plate umpire, especially early in the game. But I mean, look, the Yankees came to play. They needed to win this game. They needed it in the worst way. And to be able to beat Scherzer, who's now had two not great outings back-to-back. I mean, okay outings.
I mean, 4 runs last
he's a bulldog. There's no question about it.
I'm not worried about him.
No, neither am I. But, look, Aaron Judge came to play. He had a home run. Benintendi came to play, and Benintendi all of a sudden is now starting to assert himself a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of games in a row now where we're getting the offense from him that a lot of Yankee fans expected when Brian Cashman made the trade, and this was a very important game for the Yankees. I know that we make a big deal out of the Subway Series, and who really cares because the Yankees have to win the AL East, and the Mets need to worry about the Braves, but these players, I think, feel it. I mean, obviously, it's a fans thing because we're all screaming at each other all the time about the Yankees and the Mets, but I think the players felt it too. I think you saw right off the bat during that whole let's check third thing in the appeal play in the first inning.
That was wild.
Where Rizzo's telling Lindor to shut the F up, that the Yankees really had a chip on their shoulder going into that game, and they wanted it desperately. Not that the Mets didn't, but what the Yankees have gone through the last month plus, I think they've just had it.
And plus the Mets swept them the last time they saw each other. And plus they've won more games, over the last, you saw the graphic last night on TV, how many games the Mets have won in this series over the last 3 or 4 years, whatever it is. But I just think that the Yanks came to play last night, and you could tell. And then the Mets' offensive game plan didn't work.
Yeah, and I thought that they were going to come back because that's what I've grown to expect from them, especially after the dropped pop-up with Alonso and then the Vogelback home run right after that. I thought that was the opening that they needed, and here come the Mets. They're going to storm back, and the Yankees have had all these problems, and the Mets are going to win the game, but didn't work out that way. Yankees got that 4th run, and that was basically it. And the Mets needed to get into that Yankee bullpen sooner. That's really, with all the injuries that they're dealing with, Herman gave the Yankees everything that he possibly could, pitching 7 and allowing the Yankees to do what they wanted with the bullpen situation.
So I was obviously watching the Picks broadcast, which is our SNY broadcast. And, Gary, again, illuminated just the amount of injuries that the Yankees have in their bullpen.
Yeah.
And, you can say whatever you want about Brian Cashman, because you all booed him over the weekend on Paul O'Neill night. And I would just say that, these are things that are completely out of the control of the guys that are making the decisions. They make decisions, they bring guys in, and the question is, can they stay healthy, and do they stay healthy? And you need a lot of that in order to go and win. Now, of course, depth is a big part of it, but I think he listed like 6 guys out of their bullpen. And I knew there were like 3 or 4. There were 6 of them on that list.
Sure. Yeah.
And you realize just how detrimental that is, especially when you're going through like kind of the growing pains. Now, we'll all blame the offense because we all kind of focus in on the offense. But to me, it's more, and like you said, Herman needed to go and give them length, and he did. And then, the 2 relievers that come in, Loizaga shut the Mets down. But I don't know. It just felt like to me watching the first inning last night that the Yankees came to play, and the Mets played hard, and Scherzer was okay. He wasn't great, but the Mets just could not get their offensive game plan going through the first 5 innings.
Yeah, that was the best Herman has looked in a very long time.
Because they were swinging and missing at bad pitches or dribblers.
But you got to give
hitting.
them some credit, don't you?
Yeah, you do. But again, I know exactly what the offensive game plan was.
Yeah, it was to try to get him early on in the count, and it wasn't working out.
And see if they could knock him out of the game, to start questioning, and of course, as soon as Vogelback hits the home run, who comes sprinting out of the dugout?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Boone.
Yeah, of course. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah, he's like, okay, look, this guy's pitched great to this point. Let's get him out of there. We got the lead, and, let's let him feel good about himself. That's part of the process of knowing when to pull a pitcher.
Yeah. But don't you feel like, because you got Taijuan Walker on the mound tonight, and the last time we saw him and you had to deal with the back injury stuff, that it's just like you love the fact that you've got Scherzer and DeGrom back-to-back. Like, that is something that you love to have. I mean, and I don't need to see Jacob DeGrom pitch against the Colorado Rockies. I mean, why is he getting extra days off at this point? And now we're going to see, Frankie Montas has been horrible for the Yankees. So if the Met offense can't get going against him, that's going to be a problem.
Maybe that's why they decided Taijuan Walker. And on top of it,
I think they decided because they're worried about DeGrom. That's why
they just want to be careful with him. That's all. Look, we need him in September, and we need him in October.
So an extra off day here or there is going to guarantee that?
I think that they're trying to just be smart. That's all I can tell you. I'm disappointed, too, because I wanted to see him go against the Yankees. I want to see him go against Aaron Judge.
I mean, that was the whole thing. It was like, all right, so we don't have DeGrom or Scherzer against the Phillies over the weekend, but they're lined up in that 2-game series against the Yankees. It doesn't get better than that. And now the fact that they beat Scherzer, you're like, well, you're not going to beat Scherzer and DeGrom back-to-back, so you know that you're going to win this game. But now I don't feel that way. And the Braves win again, of course, as they're playing the Pirates. I mean, I know that their schedule gets a little bit tougher coming up, the Braves, and the Mets schedule gets a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But every time I look at I know they just played the Astros, but every time I look at the Braves, I feel like they're playing the Nationals, the Pirates, the Rockies.
They're playing the same schedule as the Mets play.
I know, but I feel like theirs has always been easy. It has been easier up until this point. Because the Mets' easiest portion of the schedule is in September.
Yeah, and they took, later on, yes, but they also took care of business early on to give them a little bit of a lead, kind of like the Yankees did.
Sure.
I mean, look, we could go back and forth, through all of this, and we all know it comes down to October baseball. That's what it's going to come down. And then setting up that you have Scherzer and DeGrom starting whatever series you're starting. Hopefully you get the bye is what you want. You don't want to have to play in that wild card series. But that to me that's big. That's big. Staying at having one of the 2 best records in the league.
Of course, I mean
that is huge.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they reworked the playoff system to give teams that had a good regular season a little bit more of an advantage in the postseason. Because I never thought that having the best record in your league and then awarding that team with only home field advantage in a best of 5 was enough.
No, it's not.
So now you get a bye through this wild card
The first two teams, yes.
So that's huge, and I think the Mets will get there, especially with the teams that they're playing in the second half, as close as the Braves have gotten.
What number do you think that they have to get to? Like 104, 106, 103?
No, I mean anywhere from 100 and 105, I think gets it done. I really do believe that. I mean, the Braves can't continue to be at this pace. There's just no way.
All right, well, just don't worry about the Braves. Just worry about your own team.
Don't worry about the Braves.
I don't worry about the Braves. I worry about the Mets.
You don't check the Braves score every night?
I'm not saying I don't, but I'm just saying
I'm worried about them.
But I'm more concerned about what my team is doing. Like, I would think that Buck Showalter will tell his guys, one pitch, one inning, one game. That's what it comes down to.
I'm sure that he's telling them
that. And it's what we do. It's not what anybody else does. It's how we handle our business. It's pretty simple, and I know it sounds kind of cliche-ish, and this is what all the coaches say, but it's reality. It's simple. It's very, very simple. The great Bill Belichick, has once said, do your job. Sure. Remember that?
Yes, of course.
And that kind of has stuck with me for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I just figured, just do your job. Like, just do what you're paid to do. That's all. You don't have to do any more. And if you get a chance to do a little extra, do a little extra as long as it doesn't, negatively impact the team or doesn't negatively impact your input on the team, whatever the team is. So I just do your job. It's pretty simple. And I don't worry about the Braves. But the Braves are doing their job. You think they're worried about the Mets?
Yes, they are. They have been. I mean, Austin Riley, when he was asked about it, goes, we're coming for him. Yeah, he said
they're not worried about it because they know they're a good team.
Yeah, I mean, you had the one guy. We'll see what happens in October. After
we'll see what happens in October.
So they are talking about him. They are thinking about him. And it's one thing for what the Mets are thinking. It's another thing what the fans are thinking. The fans don't think the same as the players.
But you're thinking negatively. They're thinking positively.
I'm not thinking negatively. I'm just saying I'm paying attention to the Braves.
The Braves going, look, we know we're World Series champions. We know what's going on. We know who we are as a team. We're going to come and get. We're coming for them. So the Mets, how do the Mets react? Oh my God, we're going to worry about what the Braves are doing, or we're going to be negative? No.
I'm not saying.
No. We got 2 Hall of Fame pitchers.
Yeah.
We got the best closer in baseball. We got Biggs hitting home runs last night.
Sure. All for naught, really.
Yeah. Well, made the game close. Gave him a shot. But we got guys. We're good. We're a good team. So don't worry about it.
I still think. Well, you have to at least have some sort of concern about it. Come on, they never lose. The team never loses.
Then why do the Mets still have a 3-game?
I know.
lead?
I still think the Mets will win the division, but to sit here and just say that you're not concerned about it or you're not worried about it.
I'm more worried about the Mets, and I'm not worried about the Braves. I'm not worried about them until I play them.
Yeah, but
and then again, I'm not even worried about them. I'm only worried about my guys.
Okay.
I mean, I worry about you.
Breed,
I worry about you, Al Dukes, Eddie, Jerry, CeeLo, the great Peter Schwartz. These are the people. Anthony Gallo.
Yeah.
Every now and again, Tom Izzo. He's more, attached to the afternoon show. Right. So I'm more worried about our guys. I don't worry about what other guys are doing. I don't worry about, So we had a group of guys. I'm watching a game last night, and I'm distracted by who's sitting behind home plate.
Sure, yes, we had a bunch
there's Keith McPherson standing up with his stupid Yankee shirt on and cheering and everything, whatever.
Right.
Good for him. He's a Yankee sycophant. We all know that.
He was throwing a Rod Gilbert jersey on the ground there.
Right, exactly. Whatever. No, he wasn't. But anyway, then all of a sudden I look. I said, "Is that McMonagle?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "That is." Now all I saw was a big fat head. I didn't see any body. I just saw a head. Yeah, it was like a head that was in between, like the 2 people sitting in front of him.
Yeah, like Stewie from Family Guy.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. I was trying to wonder. Yes, the Stewie from Family Guy is right there behind home plate. I'm like, oh my God, it's a distraction.
Yeah.
And then I swear to God, see, this is the problem with Tommy Lugauer when he was working with us.
Yeah.
He was such a moper.
Well,
he's mopes and I'm watching him, and he's at a game and he's moping at a game.
I'll have his back here for a second.
There is nothing worse than actually watching a guy. First of all, he's sitting in $5,000 seats that were given to him so they could pay favor to Craig and Evan and those guys so they get good PR, and so they're not screaming about the Yankees or getting all over getting over Cashman or or Hal Steinbrenner or anything. So they're
telling
trying
me that the Yankees are buying
bought
Carton and Roberts.
They're
Is that
being
what you're
bought
saying?
off. They're
Yeah.
being bought off.
Wow.
Is what's happening.
What
We
an
know that.
allegation.
We now know that. So I got Stewie behind home plate. I got the Moper to his right. And I got, McPherson standing up, in his Yankee jersey. And I thought he's supposed to be like objective.
Yeah, he's not. Well, no, we're not. None of us are objective. Come on, we have our favorite teams for the most part, and that's how we roll. But Keith McPherson, what's funny about him was the last Subway Series. He said that the Yankees weren't even trying to win; they were basically exhibition games. Like they didn't care about playing the Mets, and that's why they lost. But
that's why he's acting this way last night.
Right, but then last night,
so last night all of a sudden they care.
Crazy, yeah.
Well, they should care because it's in their building.
Right, absolutely.
You don't want to be embarrassed in your building, that's for sure.
But to have Tommy's back for a second, I mean, the Mets were down immediately in the game.
But he was moping from
But he's sitting in Yankee Stadium around a bunch of Yankee fans that things were working out for them better than him. So, obviously he's going to be a little bit more dour and sour.
Where was the little redhead?
I don't know. I guess he didn't stay for the game. Yeah. I don't know.
He didn't stay for the game?
I don't know. Or maybe he sat somewhere else. I don't know. He didn't.
Craig got them those free tickets and they didn't stay for the game?
I guess Evan had to go home. I mean.
Or I think Evan may have just went to the seats that he purchased months ago.
Oh, he bought tickets and then, okay. So he did stay for the game. He just didn't go down there.
He probably went with his dad, right? He usually goes with his dad, right?
Yeah, he didn't say during the show.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so had Keith, you had Tommy Lugauer.
And Stewie.
Yeah, you had McGonigal, and then there was also a kid from the promotions department. I think his name is James that I met recently.
There was a kid from the promotions department? That was supposed to be Evan.
Well, yeah. Well, whatever.
Well, good for James.
Right, good for him. He
had an experience.
Right, exactly. Evans had plenty of those experiences.
How much food do you think McMonagle had? He had to go underneath, and he had to just chow his...
What, in the Legends seats? Listen,
yes.
I'm not one to talk. I mean, I went ham at that Legends buffet before. I mean, I sat there.
That place is unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 5-star restaurant down there.
No, I know. And they're slicing the meat for you, pouring the gravy on it.
Oh, and they got sushi, they got vodka, they got tequila.
It's
I mean, they got it all down there.
It's insanity. And there's a candy wall right before you walk out.
Oh, he had his mitts all over that.
Oh, you just right before you walk out to the seats, there's a big wall of candy. You just grab and stuff it in your
pockets. But I'm telling you, maybe CBS Sports can find a still photo or one of the videos.
There's plenty of them on Twitter, too, if you want to check it out.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but you understand what I'm saying about McMonagle's head?
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, it is a little larger than normal head.
But I didn't even see a body. I just saw a head.
Well, when you're sitting down and the people in front of them and the big head, that's the way that it works.
Speaking of heads.
Yeah. What?
I see, did you go to Supercuts or Lemon Tree?
No,
Where'd you go?
No, I did not go to Supercuts or Lemon Tree. Yeah, I got a haircut.
Got a haircut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go to Supercuts or Lemon Tree.
Oh, I don't know where you go. Where do you go?
I go to the buddy of mine.
Oh, your buddy of yours?
Yeah.
In his basement?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. In a little room off his garage. Yeah, that's where I go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've told you that.
Yeah, I know, but you're just saying, like, you want severe.
What do you mean severe?
I mean, it's pretty short.
Okay, yeah. Figured.
No, I'm thinking.
Well, it was really long. I went a long time without getting a haircut. So
okay, so then I'm right. Then it is short.
Well, yeah, it's a contrast because I went too long with getting a haircut, so I wanted to go short.
Did your buddy's a barber by trade, or is he the guy that works at the treatment plant?
No, he's a barber by trade. He also teaches a class.
Oh, so he's a so what kind of class?
Like a barber class. Like he's
cutting,
at the BOCES, which is a trade school.
All right, no, I mean, I think he did a good job.
Okay. I'm glad
I
got your
thought you were Supercuts or Lemon Tree.
Not super. No. Lemon Tree. If I went to Lemon Tree, I'd come back with a Mark Davis haircut. That's not the
Mark Davis. Did you see they asked him about whether or not Tom Brady was really coming to him?
I didn't see. No.
Oh yeah, and he responded. He goes, "Well, you got to ask Dana White. Dana White's a hell of a promoter." He goes, "What was that? 3 years ago?" And and he kind of just deflected the whole thing.
Oh, okay. So it sounds like it probably was true.
Oh, it's probably true.
All right.
He doesn't want to get nailed for tampering.
Sure, of course not. Which apparently you get killed for that, as we're seeing with the Miami Dolphins.